My name's Erin DiCarlo. I'm the founder and president here at Dovetail Companies, and my partner is Lauren Watts, the vice president and director of operations. We are certified senior advisors, certified dementia practitioners, seniors real estate specialists, and sellers representatives. We want to we want to address the fact that we know that people are feeling really overwhelmed during these uncertain times. And that's okay. It's okay to feel overwhelmed, but there's something called a negativity bias. This is where our negativity is outweighed 3-to-1 ratio with positive. What that means is we tend to hold on to and give more credit to negative things happening in our lives. And we have to offset that with 3 times as much positivity as we have negativity. And I can tell you from personal example, that's not so easy to do right now when we're bombarded with our culture and our news stations with doom and gloom and fear. So we want to talk a little bit today about how to shift out of that, how to drown out that negativity with that 3-to-1 to help us focus on what we do have to celebrate here, what does fill our bucket that helps us move forward with our life and our planning and our execution, even during these really uncertain times. So first we want you to take a little self-check, a little gauge check, if you will, and look at what fills you, what fills your tank. Think about, maybe even take a pen and paper out and write a quick list of, maybe it's the people in your life. When you meet with them or talk with them, they make you feel better. You feel pumped up with positivity and energy and like you can tackle the world. And also take a look at what drains you. What takes energy away from you? What activities in your day-to-day aren't helping to sustain you? What people, when the phone rings or there's a knock on the door, maybe not a knock on the door right now because we're socially distancing, but the people in our lives that tend to suck the life out of us a little bit. And really check in with that and be clear with yourself. You don't have to share this information with anyone else because it's important. And what we're going to do today is to create goals and boundaries to try to shift into filling our bucket so that we can move forward with our life, our planning and execution. And also to know that you don't have to have it all figured out to move forward. I think so many times in our lives, we get maybe stuck in the mud when we take off too much to chew and swallow. When we look at the whole picture of something, it seems maybe a little unmanageable or not realistic to tackle. So to take it into manageable bites on what are some things you can be doing to move that needle in a more positive direction without feeling completely overwhelmed by it. So we want you to take a minute to find your why. That may seem a little lofty for some, but ways for us to make progress in life are done in the 3 following ways. The first is focusing on what brings us joy. Maybe it's something you used to do in the past or you'd really like to do in the future, but really spending time thinking about and putting energy into your vision. What do you want to see for yourself? In an idealistic world, what does your future look like? And when our mind and our soul and our thoughts and emotions are focusing on these positive things, these things that we want to attain to, we're not simultaneously sitting in this doom and gloom of fear, right? So the more we focus our energy onto these what do I want? What motivates me? What's my reason for being here? What are my motivating factors? Focusing also on, it's called appreciative inquiry. It's a form in positive psychology education about focusing instead of highlighting the negative, what's not going well in my life, what do I want to change? Focus and build upon what's actually working really well for you at home or was working well for you that you miss. I'm a really social person. I really miss being one-on-one, face-to-face with my clients right now. So let me build upon that. Can I talk with them more often on the phone or maybe use some of the technology, FaceTime or like these Zoom meetings to get more face-to-face one-on-one with my clients? And so depending on what's on your list, what sustains you and motivates you, what can you do right now to fulfill the answers to those why questions. Who are some of the people in your life that do bring you joy and you want to spend more time with? Are they involved in your life day to day as much as you'd like them to be? And if not, reach out. They're probably feeling the same way about you. Reach out to them and spend more time with those people. If you can't do it in person right now, phone calls, virtual meetings really go a long way to help keep you motivated and head in that direction. Mindfulness. It's important. This helps us focus on the day and in the moment. Our brains tend to focus on the what ifs, or I should have, could have, should have done, the past or the future. And when we're thinking about the past and what we could have done differently, or we're worrying about the future, it's really not helpful at all. If we start to shift on today, what can I do? What can I think in this moment to help me increase my quality of life? You start to find joy in the moment, and you start to regain control of your thoughts, and your thoughts become your reality. Perception is reality. So if we can really focus on the here and the now, if you're worrying about what if I get sick or my children get sick from this horrible COVID-19, that's not helping you. Right now I am healthy. Right now my children are healthy. And finding gratitude and gratefulness in the moment of now and living in the present, you'll start to see you start to shift into a better headspace and mindset. And it can be really fulfilling to know that you're in charge, you're in control of your thought process. And that alone can start to make you feel better. Like life's not just happening to you, but you have a say in how you're choosing to respond to the things that are happening around you. By practicing mindfulness, you can overcome worrying and gain greater self-control over your mind, body, and emotions. Again, this helps you focus on what you can do and no longer what you cannot do. And right now, we're all aware there's a lot that's not in our control. So anything we can bring back into our control really helps us to feel good. Another way to head in the right direction is with goal setting. If you can set small, achievable goals each day when you wake up, at the end of the day, those positive experiences lead to you had a good day. And the more good days we have, the better and easier life becomes, right? So for us here at Dovetail Companies, we try to have our clients manageable small goals. Maybe you're feeling clutter in your home. You're feeling like your house is a mess and you just can't get motivated to deal with cleaning out the entire house. Well, that's a little overwhelming. I wouldn't be able to do that either. So maybe today you're going to focus on going through your sweaters in your closet and deciding which are your favorite and which no longer serve you, and you're going to decide to donate or sell them. That's great. That's progress. You made tough decisions. You accomplished something for the day. And believe me, those small steps in the right direction ultimately lead to something, which is the decluttering of your entire home, but you did it step by step in manageable bites. Some other things you can think of is, I really want to take a trip. I'd love to travel more. I've always wanted to go to Greece. Well, I can't go because of this pandemic. No, you can go. Eventually, one day, you'll be able to go to Greece. What better way than having your goal be the day you spend the day researching your future trip to Greece. You think about where you'd like to stay, the sites you'd like to see, what restaurants you would like to dine at, and you start to shift into this beautiful headspace of planning for your future. You can control that. And you can spend time with small action steps, focusing on the positive of what those future goals will look like. We have a lot of clients that might be what we call right sizing. They eventually will be transitioning from their long-time large home into maybe a smaller space that serves them better. So right now, they're able to focus on making decisions on which items they'd love to move. There must have pieces of furniture and memorabilia that they'll definitely be taking with them. It doesn't matter that we don't have a date yet for them to move into the new space. This will have to happen anyway. What a great use of our time right now to take effective steps into heading towards that goal in that direction. So this is a theory, psychologists Richard Ryan and Edward Deci. It's called self-determination. And to be determined to achieve your goals. So many of us set goals. I'm going to, New Year's resolution, I'm going to lose 15 pounds this year. Well, there are a few factors that you need to stay self-determined to get through achieving that goal. And they are described as the following. So, and by the way, it's not the goal itself that's really important for self-motivation, to stay motivated with achieving your goal. And overall well-being, you feel good when you achieve your goals. It's more the act of actually creating that goal and pursuing the goal. By creating the goal and pursuing the goal, you're actually meeting 3 basic human needs, which are the following. The first is control. We have a basic need as humans to choose and be in control of how we act. And when our goal is our own and we have choice and say in our lives, it allows us to act autonomously. And that's a basic human need that we all have. And this continues to lead towards our feelings of self-motivation and well-being. It's just the idea that no one's telling you what to do with your life. You're in control of your own decision making. Lauren and I run a training here at Dovetail called Parents Don't Want to Be Parented. And this is kind of the fundamental underlying issue with this. It's just remaining in control of our life's decisions. The second, to help keep you motivated and on track, is competence, that you feel competent to achieve this goal. This is the human need to feel confident, effective, and masterful in whatever we do. What helps towards this competency is that you're getting positive and constructive feedback about your performance. So I mentioned earlier about the importance of having cheerleaders in your corner. Who are the people in your life that really fill your energy bucket and keep you motivated? Those are the people that are going to cheer you on. At the end of the day, when you call your best friend and say, hey, I did it. I went through that whole spare bedroom closet and I got all of my sweaters organized. You want to be able to hear from somebody that has influence in your life. Wow, great job. I knew you could do it, Erin. That was a major task for you. And then the third is connection. It's so important that we as human beings have close and secure relationships with other people while remaining our own decision maker, right? So it's not people that are bossing you around and telling you what to do, but it's people who are maybe a peer, who respect and have deep connections with you on an interpersonal relationship. We call them your tribe members here. Who's in your tribe? And making sure you're aligned with the right tribe members to support your ultimate lifetime goals. Because these people are really going to help you meet your goals eventually. So what are we doing here with all this? We're trying to live a better life. We're trying to find happiness and well-being, right? That's the ultimate goal here, is to live happily with a quality of life. And for some people right now, what brought you a quality of life before all of this may have been stripped away. So it's really time to look at this model. So this is the PERMA model of well-being. This was established by Martin Seligman, and it really describes the aspects and areas of your life that will lead you to overall well-being, or what I like to call happiness, is the easiest way for me to put it. But the first is positive emotion. Are you experiencing positive mood and uplifting feelings? This goes back to how to increase that. What are you doing in your day-to-day to help increase your positive feelings and emotions? The other is engagement. We call this, it's also known as the flow, being in good flow. This is being totally absorbed in a task, so much so that you lose track of time and you feel completely at one with whatever it is that you're doing. So I have family members and clients that love to knit. And they're like, I just got so carried away. I did this entire sweater, in one day. They were in flow. They were enjoying the activity that they were doing. You may hear marathon runners refer to this as a runner's high. They are just in flow. They are completely absorbed in the run that they just ran an entire marathon in a state of flow or well-being. So really focus on what are those activities in your life. I love being outside. I love cooking. Actually, now that more I think about it, cooking is that for me. Hours can go by and I'm completely absorbed in cooking, which helps. Relationships. Caring and supportive connections are essential at any age in life. And I would even dare to say, in my area of expertise, even more so later in life. Many times later in life, we've had different loss, tragedies, experiences, and our relationships and our social connections are what sustain us. An example of something that we're all using today is video conferencing and modern day technology. This is something that allows you, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but stay connected with those people, and those, if you can't go out and have a hug or a cup of coffee with a friend, please pick up the phone and call them, because I'm sure they're feeling the need as well. The other one is meaning. Pursuing meaningful activities has been found to be more strongly related to happiness than pursuing pleasurable ones. Everyone needs a reason to get out of bed in the morning. And this is where you can take yourself back to your why. We need to feel needed as a human. It talks about pleasurable things. Like you could, go shopping and spend a ton of money and like the gifts that you bought, but it doesn't give you like long lasting happiness. But if you started a charity for a cause that's near and dear to your heart, that brings a lot of meaning. And with that meaning can help increase your feeling of well-being or happiness. And then ultimately, lastly, accomplishment. This includes everything from achievement, success, and mastery at the highest level possible. When we feel accomplished, it brings a higher sense of confidence. And again, overall well-being, that we feel like we've come here to do what we thought we were put on this earth to do, and the accomplishment helps. And that success means something different for everyone. And again, this goes back to your writing down your list of your why and checking off or seeing where there's opportunity to build upon. What are some things you always wanted to accomplish that you haven't? It's literally never too late. Okay, so we let's say you're on track. You spent this quarantine time doing all of this. You're feeling great. You're happy. You're in a state of well-being. It's impossible to stay in this, well, for the most part, it's impossible to stay in this state of flow, as we call it, long term. It's just the reality of life. Things happen, you get pulled out of it, and you have a bad day, or you shift into just a negative mindset, which happens to all of us. The good news is, and this is the easiest lesson I hope you take from today that I've been using in my life and I've been teaching to my children, is you have the opportunity to choose again. So if you have never heard of this woman, her name is Gabrielle Bernstein. She's a motivational speaker, life coach, and New York Times bestseller. And she's created this practice to help people completely shift out of whatever negative space that they're in. And it's a really simple method. If you don't know Gabby or you don't follow her, I recommend picking up one of her easy to read books, or you can see her online. I think it's gabbybernstein.com. It's actually, yep, down there. It's on the slide. So the basis is, first, notice the thought. If you're just having that negative thought, you can shift away from it just by first noticing it. It's important that you kind of put a name on it, right? Ask yourself, how do I feel right now? She suggests taking time to grab a pen and paper and just write down whatever is going through your head in that moment that you're having kind of that negative thought or feeling. And it could be something as simple as, the thought of moving and selling my home makes me so sad and anxious. That's it. Just write down whatever it is that's making you feel this bad feeling. And then second, forgive the thought. Once you've narrowed down what's bothering you, just acknowledge that it worries you, and that's totally normal. Of course, you're anxious about selling and leaving your longtime home. That's totally normal. It's okay to feel this way. And literally just say, like, okay, I'm feeling sad and unmotivated about selling my home. That's just an example based on the example I gave. And then the third part is this easy. Choose again. Choose to feel a different way and reframe that. Once you've come to terms with what's bothering you, you've already made this decision to shift away from it. Okay, this is bothering me. I don't want to feel this way. I'm going to forgive myself for feeling this way, and I'm going to choose a different way. She actually thinks that the simplest thing to do is, what's the best feeling thought I can have right now? So you're probably not going to go from, I'm scared and overwhelmed with selling my home, to, yay, great, I can't wait to list and sell. That's not realistic to jump from here to here. What is realistic is to say, okay, I'm anxious about selling my home, but it's going to be so nice to be around all of these people in the community. I'm really looking forward to making new friends and having some socialization in the coming months. That's a big shift. to start to focus on what you're looking forward to in your upcoming transition and shift away from the fear and anxiety, you just successfully used the choose again method. It's been really fun to do this at home with my kids. First, it's helped me really identify what are my triggers, what tend to be. And when you write this down, you have kind of a journal to keep track of it. What tends to get me? Sometimes it's a person who's calling you. You notice that tends to set you off, or it's an action. Maybe it's something the kids are doing or they're arguing for them. It's what starts it. But it starts to, again, put you in control of your life and your attitudes and your emotions. You start to realize that you don't have to be a victim to your circumstance. You have the power within yourself to shift. So also focusing on this next slide talks about a little bit of progress each day adds up to big results. If you have been stagnant and stuck in the mud at home, that's okay. Like we said, these are normal emotions and experiences that everybody's facing. But if you start to notice you're shifting and you're making some progress and you're feeling a little bit more positive, that's something to really celebrate. Again, small steps in the right direction. If you haven't talked to friends in weeks, so you started every other day calling a friend, that's going to start to build up and build momentum for you to start shifting in the right direction. Now, depending on your situation, where you're coming to us and watching this video, maybe you are planning a major life change. A lot of our clients will be moving from their homes to a senior living community in the near future, and they're feeling really overwhelmed about those upcoming decisions. So this is a great time while you're feeling empowered and in a positive headspace to start to take some actions to plan for your future that aren't too overwhelming and you can be doing safely at home right now. One is having some conversations with your family members or influences in your life about what your goals are and about this planning that you're doing and what you want to see for yourself. It's kind of empowering to take what you've been thinking and say it to someone. And you can also start to do your legal and financial planning, working with trusted advisors, estate planners, attorneys, financial planners, and telling them what your wants and wishes and goals are for the future, and then getting that planning down on paper. You feel really good once you start to have these plans in place. In the beginning of this, it's more idealistic and thinking, and in the end of this, it's actual execution, which feels great. We have a program here at Dovetail Companies, and if you're interested, we'd be happy to send it to you free of charge. It's called the Stick and Move program. It's just small steps you can take now while at home, regardless of your age, really, on dealing with all of the items in your home. We find that that's the biggest hurdle for a lot of people when thinking about transitioning from home to their next space is, what am I going to do with all this stuff? Because not all of it will either fit and not all of it continues to serve you well in your next stage, wherever that may be. So briefly, we have a colored sticker program where you will place stickers on all of the items in your home to make the decision on where these items will go. And then when the time comes, when we have the ability to move again and go into these new spaces, it's done with ease because we've put this program in place to help you make these tough decisions now while you're home so that we can execute rather quickly when the time comes. And then next is take a minute to celebrate. You've lived a hopefully great life up until this point, even if it hasn't been perfect, it's your life. And celebrate it, because wherever your experiences were prior to this point in your life, they've brought you to here now. And we can't change the past, but we can change the future. We can plan effectively. So give those memories and experiences a round of applause for bringing you to where you are today. And then take those lessons and build upon them so that you can build the future that you want to have for yourself. If all of this completely overwhelms you and it's not your cup of tea and you still feel stuck and you need help, we're all here to help. There are amazing professionals. There are life coaches, senior move managers, a plethora of professionals that we work with to help support people later in life to put a quality plan in place to ensure that their wishes and wants will be executed in the future. So please feel free to reach out to us or other professionals. We'd be happy to guide you in their direction. A little bit about Dovetail Companies. We provide a variety of services to help streamline the overwhelming process older adults face when transitioning from home. Everything from move management to estate sales, donation coordination, cleanouts, elder law, financial planning. Also, we provide short-term bridge loans if finances are a concern for folks, and we are a real estate company, Dovetail Real Estate Group. We are a listing exclusive brokerage for the mature seller. So if you'd ever like to learn more about us, please check us out online at dovetailcompanies.com. We have a YouTube channel with a lot of education and resources. We would love to hear from you. Info@dovetailcompanies.com. Stay well, everybody. Be happy.